everyone, so for this week we're going to be working on rotations. Previously we've already worked on translation, just sliding things up, down, left, and right, and then reflecting, so reflecting images or points about a line. This time we're going to be working on rotations and how we can look at that in different images and then on graph-like surfaces. So this first problem, it says that these right here are two images to represent different letters. So this signal and this signal is how you can represent flags to signal different messages or letters. So this is how you would turn Z, and this is how you'd represent J. But these are obviously a little insignificant, but the next part of the problem is each precisely describe a rotation that would take the left-hand flag to the right-hand flag. So if we're looking at this first one first, it says I need to move my left hand to my right hand flag. So notice that I'm literally moving this and I'm moving it over this direction, looking at the left, and I'm moving it over to my right. How can I describe that? Well, first of all, you can say that it has to move down. So if it's moving down, just think about the way that turns. That's going to be clockwise, okay? We know that 90 degrees is a nice 90-degree corner. This looks right at about 45. It looks halfway. So you can say that the left hand needs to move 45 degrees clockwise to turn into my right hand signal. I'll say that again. My left hand needs to turn 45 degrees clockwise to turn into my right hand. Now what we're going to be looking at is how we turn this left hand into the right hand here. So this left hand needs to move this way to turn into my right. It's 90 degrees because you can imagine this is a full 90-degree corner, and it's moving up and left. And if you look at the direction of that turn, this is the opposite of clockwise turn, so we would call this counterclockwise. So two ways that we can describe to move the left to this right. Once again, this left here to this right, 45 degrees clockwise, and then this left to this right is 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now for this problem, we go and zoom out. We're going to be rotating this image. So the first problem is, and you're going to be doing this as well on your own board. So please, I do ask that you're splitting your screen with this video and your own website. So here it says rotate quadrilateral or shape A, B, C, D, 90 degrees. Let's see if I can zoom in this so it's a little bit easier. 90 degrees clockwise around Q. So I know that's a little hard to read, so let me go ahead and type it in here because it's overlapping. So rotate A, B, C, D, 90 degrees clockwise around Q. Alrighty. So we should know that after 4 weeks actually, this tool, this reflection tool, has all of my transformations. So you can see it has reflecting, it has rotate, and it has translate. But for today, we're going to use rotate. So we're going to select the rotate tool, and the directions say select object, then the center point, and then the angle. So here's my object, A, B, C, D. My center point is going to be around point Q, so selecting Q. And then my angle is going to be 90 degrees clockwise. 90 degrees and clockwise, hit OK. Alrighty, so this is what basically happened. Here is the relationship between this shape to Q originally. I needed to move it 90 degrees clockwise, which means my new line is going to be in this relation from Q to A. So then this shape right here, I can change that into a new color. This is going to be the copy of shape A, B, C, D, and that's why it's A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the original triangle or original shape, A, B, C, D, or the green one, 180 degrees around R. So let's go ahead and come back to my rotation tool, select my rotate tool, select the shape, select the point, which is around R, and then I write 180 degrees, 180 degrees. And for this one, it doesn't matter clockwise or counterclockwise, because if I rotate something 180 degrees, then that means it's going to do a full half circle. So it doesn't matter which direction you would go. it would still look the same. So click OK. And then you can see that if it's going to go around R, let's see here. So if it's going to go around R, that is this line right here. This color. So from my original to my R, now 180 degrees is going to come right here. So now this is my new line. Now the next thing that we're going to do is another rotation. We're going to rotate right here, H, J, K, L, M, N. So this whole thing, 120 degrees. So let's select this first. Here's my transformation tool. Select my rotate. Select the shape. Select the point. So select O. And it's going to be 120 degrees clockwise. Okay, and I'm going to use my little, oh, I can't, can I move this around? Okay, it looks like I can't really move it around. That's okay, but I know it's right there. Let's see if I can zoom out. Oh, interesting. Oh, there, I can use this tool and I can move things around. There we go. Okay, so now I can rotate the original shape, not the prime or the copy, but the original 60 degrees around point P. So select it, select my shape, select my point, and now I'm going to type in 60 degrees counterclockwise. All right, let's move this around one more time. Alrighty, so this is what we're kind of looking at. To kind of show the rotation angle, what I'm going to do is, I will do this. Okay, so for number 3, where I needed to rotate 120 degrees around O, I'm going to select the center point K. I'm going to show you where it went to O, and then I will show you K right here. Oh, that's not what I needed to do. Okay, here's K, here's O, and here's the other K. Oh, that's not, okay, well, we'll just do it this way. Alrighty, here's K, here's O, and here is K prime to O. So this degree, where I rotated it over, is 120 degrees. And similarly, this is also going to be the same as well for number 4. So for number 4, I need to go 60 degrees around P. So let's go ahead and take these tools again. I'm going to use J, any random point. I need to select P, and then I'm going to select J prime. Okay. All right. So this is very important. We know that a full circle is going to be 360 degrees. So for this, we see that this outer part, this outer angle is 240. And then if you do 360 minus 240, that's going to equal 120. So that means that this inner part is 120. I wonder if I can write that down. So this inner part right here is 120 degrees. And that's this right here. And this is going to be 360 minus 300. So this inner part is going to be 60 degrees, like the problem says. Okay? For number 3, I needed to rotate 120 degrees clockwise around O. So clockwise is obviously going this way. So this right there is clockwise. And then for this problem, when it's 60 degrees, counterclockwise around P. So I'm starting here at J, and then I move counterclockwise, which is backwards of the clock, 60 degrees. So that's counterclockwise. Let's make this better. Counterclockwise. And that's basically the outcome for this number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Before moving on to the next point, make sure that you're able to do this on your own and then pause, take a screenshot, and upload it to this assignment. Once again, if you don't remember how to take a screenshot, you go to these 3 dots on a Chrome, go to More Tools, take a screenshot, and then you can go ahead and upload it. If you're watching this video before you come to a live session, like you're pre-doing a lesson, you'll be turning in this photo or sharing your screen to show me that you could follow. All right, so now moving on to the next thing. This is an image where we came from a blue and somehow we need to turn it into a green. Now, they are steps provided, but we kind of need to fill in the blank to these steps and figure out really what's going on. So it says, Mai suspects that triangle ABC or this blue triangle is congruent to triangle DEF. She thinks these steps will work to show that there is a transformation, which means we either slide it, we rotate it, or reflect it, and to turn the blue triangle to the green triangle, or ABC to DEF. So let's follow as many steps as we can, and then fill in this blank. So first we have to translate the directed line by line segment B. So this is my transformation tool. Here's my translate tool. Translate tool is to select object and then the vector. So let's select my object and then let's select my vector. Boom, there we go. So now we have to change this to this way. And the second step is rotate the image blank degrees counterclockwise around point D. So basically counterclockwise is going to be, if this is clock, so let's see here. So this direction is clockwise because that is how it normally goes in a clock. And then this direction is counterclockwise. CCW. Okay, so we need to move this and we need to turn it this way. This blue needs to turn. And then let's change this shape, this color. So we need to move the purple over counterclockwise, some degree that we don't know, and it needs to go around point D. And this right here, you can't really see, but this point is D, okay, because it was DEF. So this one's D below A. And then the last one is reflect that image over line DE. So first of all, this line DE right here is what we're going to need to know. This is going to be the line DE. So we need to move this all the way over here, and then we can reflect it to turn it into this green angle that we see. Okay, so let's see here. What is the first step that we are going to do? So we need to figure out the number of degrees that we must rotate counterclockwise. And remember, counterclockwise is going over to the left, and we're going to rotate it around here. So we're just going to be playing around with it. And we're going to use our rotation tool to select the image, select the point, so around this point, and then we need to do some type of degree counterclockwise. So let's just try 45 degrees and see what that looks like. So you can see that this here moves it from 45 degrees. So basically this line over to this line of B is 45 degrees, and that's nowhere near what we want because we need to reflect it over here. So before we move on, let me go and show you where we need it to go, because we need this image to go here. Something like that. That way it can be reflected over DE. So this is where we want it to go. So now we knew 45 degrees that wasn't going to work. So let's go ahead and then select my rotate tool again. And then let's try a different degree. Let's try 9 degrees counterclockwise. Now you can see it definitely got closer, but we need to move it all the way over to the other side. So that's not enough. So we're going to try it again, click our triangle, click our point, and now let's try 120. Or let's just try 100. Let's see, 100 degrees. Well, we tried 90 degrees already, so let's just do 120 because adding by 30 degrees every single time does help a lot. So this is nice because we can see we reflected it over. So if you reflected it right now, it would work, but we need to use the reflect image over this line DE. So let's not do 120 degrees. Let's try 150 degree. All right, so you see I get closer, but that's not quite what I want. So once again, I'm going to go back, select my point, and we just tried 150, so now we're going to try 180 degrees. All right, so you see we're getting a little bit closer, but we want to move it all the way up here, So I always like to add 30 degrees, 30 degrees, 30 degrees every time because 30 degrees is a good even fraction within the total degrees of a circle, which is 360. So we just tried 180, so let's try 210. And you see we're getting closer, but we're not quite there. So now I'm just going to be, we just added 210, so now I'm going to add another 30 degrees, and let's see how we get to that point. So here's going to be 240. Oh, and you can see that it pretty much goes right over where we need to go. So it's 240 degrees, and then that looks like pretty much right. Now we can reflect that image over line DE. So I'm going to take my transformation tool, select my reflection, and I'm going to select my triangle and then select my line DDE. And now you can see it flips over. So I wonder. All right. And now you can see that it has overlap. So for this angle, it is going to be 240 degrees, which was how much we need it to move counterclockwise or over to the left for it to work and overlap. Okay. So let's see here. As far as summaries go, all about rotations, that is simply moving an image based off of a point by a specific degree amount. So here are some rigid transformations, whereas this first one, we're starting out with this A, B, C, D, and then if we moved it about point P 90 degrees, the relationship between any point and P will stay 90 degrees, however you shift it. So basically, A to P to A prime, that's going to be 90 degrees. And if we were to make that even bigger, D to P to D prime would also be 90 degrees. B to P prime would also be 90 degrees. All of these would have to be the same exact measurement, rotation of measurement for their transformation. And with this one, if I had shape, E, F, G, and they needed to rotate it 120 degrees to this shape, E prime, F prime, G prime, I'm moving it over to my left. So if you think about a clock face, if I move it over to my left, that's going to be counterclockwise. So F to C to F prime, 120 degrees. If I expanded it, G to C to G prime, also 120 degrees, and then E to C to E prime, also 120 degrees. As far as vocabulary goes, an assertion is similar to what we used to call I'm going to forget it. I think it started with a C, but we worked on it last week. But it's basically a statement that we do believe it's true, we just haven't proved it yet. We already know what congruence is. That's when things are the same size and the same shape, but it may be in a different orientation. A directed line segment is a direction that we use translations for or vectors for. And an image always takes the original to the copy, and the copy always includes a prime. As far as the translations go, again, that is when we move things over and slide it in a direction. Last week we did reflection, or maybe that was the week before, where we always move something and then reflected across the line that they're at the same distance. And this time what you see is a little different, but we're rotating things about the same common point. So that is it for this week. What we'll be doing in class is practicing it together, completing this assignment, and then doing one more practice problem, just so we know that we have a clear understanding of how to complete these questions.